Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome aboard the E-100, and once more I show you an awesome battle. I'm kidding, I show you a very average battle, and I will showcase the problem that I have with the big difference in performance of tanks in the German top tier branch, so to speak. Battle rating 7.7 and 8.0 in particular. Now you have the Leopard, no real armor, very fast firing gun, but a terrible stock grind, very unreliable stock APDS round. That is practically the Leopard summarized. Also, it's not very fast. Oh, Leopard is so fast. Yeah, tell me more when I get overtaken by T10Ms in a straight line. Yeah, it's always very nice. But then we have the E-100, and E-100, despite its showcasing right here, is a tank that doesn't really fit that gameplay. But it has such a big gun. Yeah, watch this. Oh, T-44-100 ounce. Yeah, that's the upper plate, and the upper plate of those Russian tanks, it's full RNG with this gun. Technically, you should have the penetration, and I even can penetrate the IT-1 and the T-62, the T-55A, the T-54 1941, 51, and 49 from the front. Not so much the T-54 47. That is really the one that annoys the hell out of me. Also, a lot of the Russian tanks claim to have 200mm turret front, and it's cast armor, you know. It isn't. It is much stronger. You will not believe the incredible amount of random bounces or non-penetrations or non-damaging penetrations. Yeah, that's right. That is one of the issues that I have with big APHE rounds in this game, especially on the 128mm. The 100 basically is very similar to the mouse in its overall performance, but it's really the fear factor that lets the enemy just lose their minds. Ah, the memes. Here I penetrate the cupola of the T-44 with a 128mm APHE, and it kills the commander and nothing else. No gun breach damage, no full explosion of the tank as it should be, but hey, it's just me, you know. Now, here is the thing about me, you know, getting my opinion on a tank. I play it, I observe, and then I sometimes go out to YouTube and watch other people's take on this tank. Maybe I did something terribly wrong. Most of the time it comes out like, no, I played it about right, or I had incredible amounts of bad luck. So, yeah, there's that. So there we have an IS-4, it seems. And of course I can't penetrate him. Lower plate at that angle with the additional tracks, you're not going to penetrate him. The IS-4 had quite some armor changes. And yeah, watch this. I bounce here. I expected him to aim for me. And then I'm not quite sure where to aim. There's the driver's weak. Kills just the driver. What is this? Is this a big marshmallow that kills the driver by a heart attack because of too much sugar? This is a big anti-tank gun that I have, but sometimes it feels like marshmallows. So I damaged his gun. I tried to drag him to prevent him from potentially escaping, and yeah, there we have it. The APHE round just appears into the void because I did not perfectly aim 90 degrees sideways on. I still want to harass him with the 75mm heat shell. Now finally I track him, and finally it's game over. Those Russian tanks are just ultimate troll for me. They are just like somebody would have specifically designed tanks for this game with all the game mechanics to troll German players. I receive here what seems like an AP FSDS round into my lower plate, so my engine got damaged, I bounce one of the artillery shells. This is something very good about the E-100, that it is practically hash safe. I mean, the only tank that can penetrate it with hash is obviously the Doombarn, the FV4005. But it's not guaranteed to kill any 100, especially from the side. If you shoot into the side skirts, no damage at all. So I saw here an enemy tank, but I was a bit too late to finish him off. And I'm here, yeah, trying to observe where is the enemy. Can I secure this area? Can I lock him down? I missed the snapshot on this. The gun handling is awful, very slow. Turret traverse, elevation speed is just around about 4 degrees per second, if I'm not mistaken. It's such a compilation of very bad stats that the 100 and the mouse has. Very long reloads, and especially compared to some of those Russian and American opponents in the heavy tank department. But at least I took out the T-44-100 at long range, and that is kind of the funny part about this gun. Sometimes it lol pans, most of the time it bounces. Talking about random non-penetrations, yeah, that feels good. Talking about the T-54-47, my old arch enemy. I hate this tank in everything that I drive. I just absolutely hate it. I hate it in the Chieftain, I hate it in the Conqueror, I hate it in the Leo, even with heat. And, you know, at higher tiers the mentioned tanks, they should have no problem at all with this tank. You know, you can theoretically go hull down, ambush him, yada yada yada. Fact is, he penetrates you once and a shell always goes in. And then, talking about shells always going in, the memes, the T-44, and I just take out his gun breech and also the loader with a 128mm APHE shell. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm just trying here to brawl a little bit. I try to ram him with my back, so to speak, but I can't buy enough time before he slips through. What a shame, what a shame. And then, I don't know who was that, took out my gun bridge. And now I have a problem. But not so many problems as you would think. Except now that my entire turret is dead, because the T-54-47 with obviously the upgraded APHE round penetrates the side of the turret and yeah, takes out the rest of the turret crew. But it was thankfully before the crew got replaced. It does something very stupid and fires into my side skirt, and I tried to somehow use the T-44 as a gun shield, and you do not escape the wrath of the 75mm, which is so much more reliable these days than the 128mm. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I still have my gun breech broken. I also seem to have slight damage overall in the tank, a little bit of engine damage it seems like, and I just angled myself behind this rock to repair and just observe. So an RE-251 took out the T-44. I eventually would have killed him, maybe. So yeah, the golden tip that I can give you in a Leopard or in any other fast tank, when you see a mouse, when you see an E-100, stay behind him and just harvest all the boys in Russian tanks that just try to brawl against it, because you can just harvest the kills. Sadly, the mouse and the E-100 are not driven that often because of the unreliability factor, the lack of armor on the front of the turret in particular. The hull is very good. You can't complain. I mean, just to give you one example, the rear of the hull is as thick as the upper frontal plate of the King Tiger, and it's also very well angled. So I saw here a tank rushing by, and yeah, I tried to intercept him, an E-100, by taking the shortcut on the riverside. Because now a fast Russian tank could do insane amounts of damage if he gets lucky and gets all the shots on the Allied medium tanks. So one advantage of the E-100 is the better top speed. 40 kilometers an hour versus 20 kilometers an hour compared to the Mars. But we have lower horsepower to ton ratio, which sounds incredible, doesn't it? I think it's just 6 horsepower per ton. I get shot from the back, but I have no idea what it was, so I move on. And yeah, there is no Russian tank. I have no idea where this guy went. Maybe he was killed by somebody else, or he takes him the longer route on the ridgeline behind the road. I have no idea. So, as you could see, the battle here was a lot of denied kills by, I guess, RNG. A lot of things that should not be that way, but still I came out due to, yeah, experience and also a 75mm gun. Currently I try to unlock the smoke shell for the 75mm. The 128mm doesn't get the option, but it wouldn't be of big use, I have to say. And with this smoke shell I could constantly smoke myself up, or, you know, change between a heat shell and a smoke shell, because the reload on this tank with an ace crew is, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 seconds, so relatively short. The smoke duration is 20 seconds, so I could fire theoretically a smoke shell, 2 heat shells, smoke shell, 2 heat shells. And in this respect the mouse offers much more room for the 75mm ammunition without using the storage in the turret. So I kind of flanked the enemy here. Yeah, I'm still down to 2 crew members. That's again one of the drawbacks. I'm not quite sure if it would have been worth going back to our capture zone and, you know, refreshing or implementing a new crew member. And then I see this Russian tank, aim carefully, and finally we get a side turret penetration and blow up the ammo in the turret. And that's my ace. But it doesn't really feel like an ace, I have to say. It feels more like, yeah, he could have gotten more, but no. You know, it feels like that. I was a bit grumpy. Now I think I can talk about another topic, because I just watched a video from many miles away, and it was about Tier 4. Now I complained so much about it that I just don't think that I have to recap it, but in the script chats, I think it was called, maybe I give you the link in the video description, Miles talks a lot about the things that I've complained for such a long time, and he also mentions other very interesting arguments. And all that explains, you know, why German teams at Tier 4 are so unenjoyable. And, you know, it explains the power creep, it explains why King Tigers are partially so bad. Yes, there are still drivers that make mistake and, you know, take, for example, all the ammunition with them on the one with the long 88. The 10.5 you can't remove the warheads from the left hand side of the turret, so it always gets ammo racked back practically, and that's just laughable. What does this have to do with this tank? Well, this tank desperately, I'm talking here about the E-100 and the Maus, they desperately need the Treibspiegelgeschoss. That is a big APDS for the Germans. And there were reports, or I'm not quite sure, I got it told by a few people, and it sounds believable, that the actual penetrator of the APDS round was in fact the warhead of a long 88 APHE round, and that would give the E-100 and the Maus an incredible firepower. One big drawback of the E-100 is the zoom. The zoom is just, the magnification is very bad. It needs a better one, and it needs it fast. I think the Maus has a better one, or at least the Jagdtiger. The Jagdtiger has a much better one. So it's the same gun, practically, different designation, maybe a few changes on the gun breech. Who cares really about those insignificant changes or differences? Yeah. Why is the zoom different? Why would anybody give the E-100 or the mouse in this comparison the worst zoom compared to a lower battle rating tank destroyer? I don't understand it. Is this a big problem? Oh yes it is. Accurate shots with a rather slow muzzle velocity gun for this battle rating. I mean the British tanks all fire APDS with around about 1400 meters per second, and other tanks have other advantages. But this tank is completely bound to the APHE. Yes, you also could use the HE, which is a secret weapon, but again, then therefore the reload is much too long. So at this end, nothing has happened here anymore. You can see I'm too slow to make it for either of the caps, so let's just make a cut. So here, a few minutes later, I actually survived the game. That's another reason why I think lineups are not that important for me having fun, although this battle was not a fun one. So 6 kills, good result, survived the battle, and thanks to a talisman and my premium account I got 8,350 vehicle research points, or rather modification research points, because I'm currently not researching anything with that. It would have been much more. So that's the E-100 gameplay for you, and average battles. A lot of the problems are showcased. I mean, you can watch it again and just count the, you know, smooth penetrations with the buggy ones, or you know, the its feature comrade penetrations. So yeah, those are just problems because I can't go back and just load APDS or Heat FS or something like that, you know, which is practically cheat FS at this point in stage. But you know, I'm very interested in your opinion. At the end of the day, the E-100 just survives the thing. Just support the German heavies literally by, you know, staying behind them and let them do the tanking, because that's what they actually can do. I want to make a video sooner or later about, you know, platooning up with them with the smoke shells, and that will be very interesting. And I actually have written down many tactics, and I hope that I get a special version of the port of Novorossiysk, where I start from a very special point. But no further spoilers. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder.